In February 1959, deep in the frozen Ural Mountains of the Soviet Union, 9 experienced hikers set up their final camp. And something happened that forced them to cut their way out of their own tent into a blizzard, barefoot, never to return alive. There were no signs of struggle inside the tent, no warning, no time, just a sudden, silent decision to escape into a frozen wilderness where temperatures dropped far below survival limits. What could drive seasoned mountaineers to abandon shelter in the middle of the night? The group was led by Igor Dyatlov, a skilled and respected student at the Ural Polytechnic Institute. Alongside him were 8 others, all trained, all prepared for extreme conditions. This was not a reckless group. They had done difficult expeditions before. Yet this journey would become their last. Days later, rescuers found the abandoned tent half buried in snow on Kolet Syakhl, a name that translates chillingly to Dead Mountain. The tent was sliced open from the inside. Belongings, boots, and warm clothing were left behind. The hikers had fled in panic, but why would anyone escape into lethal cold without protection? As search teams moved down the mountain, the first bodies appeared near a cedar tree at the forest edge. Some were barefoot, others only partially dressed. Their final moments suggested desperation, not preparation. Branches were broken high above the ground, as if someone had climbed the tree in urgency to look for something, or someone. More bodies were found in the snow-covered ravine weeks later. These victims showed far more severe injuries, crushed ribs, and skull damage, yet with surprisingly little external trauma. It looked, in the words of investigators at the time, like a force far more powerful than a human attack. And then came the details that deepened the mystery even further. Some clothing showed traces of radioactive contamination. Some reports described unusual skin discoloration. Official files were restricted for decades, fueling speculation that something about that night was being carefully hidden. But the terrain itself tells a different kind of story. The slope where they camped was steep, unstable, and exposed to brutal winds. Modern reinvestigations have suggested a possible slab avalanche or sudden snow slab failure that may have triggered a panic evacuation. In near-zero visibility, even a small avalanche could feel like a massive, unstoppable wall of force. In that scenario, confusion becomes fatal. A nighttime avalanche could force hikers to escape without time to dress properly, especially if they believed the tent was about to be buried. Disoriented in darkness, separated in freezing wind, survival decisions become instinct, not logic. Still, questions remain. Why were some injuries so severe without clear external wounds? Why did it take rescuers so long to find them in a relatively confined area? And why did the Soviet investigation remain incomplete for so long, sealed away from public view? Over time, theories multiplied: military testing, infrasound panic, even extreme weather anomalies. But none of these explanations fully accounts for every detail without leaving gaps. The Dyatlov Pass remains one of the most studied and debated tragedies in modern mountaineering history. Today, many experts lean toward a combination of natural forces, a small avalanche or snow slab event, combined with extreme weather, disorientation, and fatal exposure. Not a single dramatic cause, but a chain reaction of survival decisions made under impossible conditions. What makes the story endure is not just what happened, but what it represents. 9 lives experienced and prepared, undone not by incompetence, but by nature's silent brutality in one of the harshest environments on Earth. And yet, even with modern analysis and decades of study, one question refuses to disappear into the snow. What did those hikers believe was chasing them into the darkness that night? If you were standing at that frozen tent on Dead Mountain, hearing the wind tear through the Ural night, would you have stayed inside or run into the unknown like they did?